You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. I can do those things because I'm not a hero. I'm whatever Gotham needs me to be.
They'll hunt you.
You'll hunt me. You'll condemn me. Set the dogs on me. Because that's what needs to happen. Because sometimes the truth isn't good enough. Sometimes people deserve more. Sometimes people deserve to have their faith rewarded.
Hey, my more brothers. Back again, probably for a quick one. I was listening to parts of FD Signifier's latest video about the Black Manosphere. And I also went and listened to Mr. Z's and SWP's videos on it. And while listening to it, about the first quarter of it, because it's like damn near 2 hours. It's like, do I really want to sit through a whole 2-hour video with him going through what he thinks about the manosphere? And so far is pretty much no, okay? Because there's really not any serious critique about the Black Manosphere for the most part at all. And for the most part, I really don't understand the academics' interest in the Black Manosphere. Well, I actually do, because it's starting to make an impact. And you would think that you would get a serious discussion from the academics about the Black Manosphere, about the people in the Black Manosphere. If you don't like the Black Manosphere at the lower levels, and any kind of group or following or movement or whatever you want to call it, culture, at the lower levels is not going to be pretty, because it's going to be all over the place, just like anything else. I can't think of any other group or any other culture anywhere, including the academics, where you would actually go down to listen to the lower levels of the people or content creators or subs or whatever, and think you're going to get any cogent thought or any cogent ideas. And so his presentation about what he thinks of the manosphere is mostly jokes, okay? It's supposed to be entertainment. It's not really any serious content. And for the most part, from what I'm looking at, it's pretty much a waste of time. Which is why, for the most part, the Black Manosphere has ignored that whole sector. Now, I dived into it. It's a lot bigger than I thought. But we pretty much ignored that whole sector because they weren't bothering us. We could care less about what you think. But there's one comment that I do want to actually hone in on. And it pretty much peppers throughout his old commentary of the parts that I've seen. His whole commentary about the videos he's done on the Black Manosphere. And there's one comment that he said, one statement he said about the Black Manosphere not knowing how the world sees us. And the fact is, yes, we do know how the world sees us. In fact, we hear it on a daily basis. You had a whole therapist pretty much telling you how the world sees us. We have books written how the world sees Black men, period. He has statistics about how they see Black boys. So we know how the world sees us as Black men, number one. And number two, about the Black Manosphere, because they say, how dare we speak up? We have whole divester movements telling us how the world sees us. We have the so-called pro-Black or conscious community telling us how they see us. We have the white manosphere telling us how they see us. This is not our first rodeo. Really, until the past couple of years, and really until Kevin Samuels, we know how you saw us because you didn't see us. The words that you use: frustrated incels that can't get a date and frustrated about the women that they can't get or can't date or who they couldn't date in high school. That's how you see us, because that's the assumption that you make. And you see the academics that have come to this space and you don't understand it. My average sub makes $80,000 a year. It's an average. I got subs that make $300,000. I got subs that make $10 million a year. I have at least 10 subs that are Ivy Leaguers, bona fide Ivy Leaguers. I have a couple of subs that have worked for the UN. I have subs that probably still work for the DOD, but they just can't say that they do. And they can't say what they do or what their expertise is. And I don't ask them. I have a lot of subs that are attracted to my work that are in the still in active military and some that aren't. And we're not talking about people at low levels. We're talking about people that have rank and have been places, still are in those places. That's just me. That's just one person. And we're not talking about the breadth of the rest of the Black manosphere. There's one guy, and he's a regular in here. He's not a content creator because he can't be. He graduated from Princeton and Wharton School of Business and does business in China. He just doesn't use his CV in public because he can't. And these are not people that can't get any sex, that can't get women. Got married people. In fact, SYSBM, the vast majority of what SYSBM people are actually married. But they're not married to ADOS people or ADOS women. And they're in 10 countries around the world. But they don't tell you that. He talks about being pro-Black. I've been in the pro-Black movement for 40 years. I still do content in real life in a on a highly respected show from a highly respected person in the pro-Black community. Still today. Just did one a couple days ago. The only reason that you deign that we're worthy of being talked to is because the Black manosphere on the shoulders of Kevin Samuels cracked into the mainstream. And there was a big debate about whether the Black manosphere itself should have gone mainstream or stayed hidden as a brotherhood in plain sight. I thought it better for the Black manosphere and the manosphere in general to actually go mainstream. Why? Because you need to change the narrative. You need to change the narrative about Black men and their concerns and what's going on with it. Because at the end of the day, the bottom line, it's not about having sex, about dating, about any of that stuff. You can go to any one of a number of places, any one of a number of content creators on YouTube that are not even associated with the so-called manosphere period or the Black manosphere and get those services. I can go point by point, and maybe I will in future videos, but probably not on this particular channel, and to go by point on the video that you put out in a serious way. But I just want to give an overview, and I'm going to say this up front. Dude, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And the guys, people that you're associated with don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Because I'm going to tell you, you guys, you Negroes, or so-called, whatever you want to call, progressives or LGBTQ liberals, as Mearsheimer would call you, the progressives, as you guys would you think that you are, even though progressive is something that they went back to right after 1994, after the attack on the so-called left. The Congress and Newt Gingrich actually went after the so-called left. And so they changed the freaking name from the left to the progressives, a cultural shift or a political shift, because they wanted to dodge that so-called neoliberal or neo-conservative bent that was going on in the 90s. But that's neither here nor there. Y'all do strategy with your thumbs. Y'all do strategy with a goddamn sledgehammer instead of a scalpel. And so when you see a phenomenon happening right in front of you that you should be able to recognize because you're supposed to be the best of us, I'm often shocked about how illiterate and dumb and obtuse that you people are. I really am. And you, FD Signifier, I'm actually disappointed. Because I thought if the academics were going to come over here and actually engage, they would do it in a more meaningful way. I'm actually shocked that you don't. And me being amongst the academics, but not just the academics sitting in a classroom, about them being your friends and them talking to you. And you getting the inside baseball about how this world works. I see why a lot of these academics are disaffected in the process and the organizations and the academic world that's out there, especially the Black Academy. I'm starting to read through the stuff, man, and all the lies and the politics actually go on inside this world. You're all trying to gain a buck. You're all trying to gain a position. You're all trying to gain some little prestige instead of the search for the truth that you should be about. Now, I understand people protecting their jobs, protecting their position, protecting their bank accounts. They want to retire and get a pension. I get that. They want to be able to move around and have upward mobility. I get that. But that's not what the outside sees. The outside see that the academy, especially your teachers, your learned ones, are supposed to be pure. They're supposed to tell you the goddamn truth, and you guys are not. I'm highly disappointed. And I'm proud of the people that have come to this space. The academics have come to the space and actually gave us an honest look. And they'll tell us that we're not perfect. And they disagree with us all the time. Rightfully so. Like any other culture, there's going to be a lot of dumb stuff that's going on. But the thing is that at the end of the day, just like any other movement, any other culture, right? Our gripes are legitimate. Our plight is legitimate. And whether you agree with it or not, it deserves to be heard and deserves to be taken seriously instead of the freaking jokes that we get from you people. Which is why anytime any of the content that you put out fails, because your movements and what you believe in and your worldview, you want it taken seriously. And you get awfully butthurt when so-called conservatives laugh at you and think that you're a joke. For the most part, as far as that, besides the Black Academy, the Black Manosphere as a whole has not gone at you, because we had hopes that the learned ones, once they actually get in and see what the actual truth is, we can start to change things. But we can't change things if a black man is going to sell out to this so-called progressive feminist milieu that's making a mess of everything. Because we could easily talk about what's going on with the so-called progressives, the so-called intersectional feminists that have rhetoric that actually makes no sense. They write books that actually go nowhere. Fortunately, the Black Manosphere is actually focused on real, live, tangible stuff and not the theory, because if we went after your theory, trust and believe, we'd rip it to shreds, because there is no there. And it wouldn't take very long for black men to actually undermine whatever the hell you think you're doing, because what you guys believe, what you've been told, is black men have no power, and that's not true. And the way the world is going, the way this stuff is spreading, we have a lot more power than you think we have, because there's a lot more black men and men of color all over the world that are looking at this kind of stuff, and they're not liking it. But let me stop my ramble. Let me get back on track. And let me give you not the blue pill version or the red pill version. Let me give you the fucking black pill version of what you're seeing right in front of you. There's a reason I put out videos like Escape Velocity. There's a reason that I push for mainstream. There's a reason I push for environment and why environment is important in this sector, in this country, especially for black men and black women and the black community. If FD Signifier, you still are indeed in the black community, which I really highly doubt, is that the United States, as we know it, is undergoing a dramatic change, and will continue to go through a dramatic change for a whole host of reasons that involve the rest of the world and not necessarily the United States internally. COVID, all it did was accelerate whatever was getting ready to go on in the first place. And if the black community wants to keep some kind of semblance of what it was, of its culture, it's going to have to change, and the women are going to have to change. I've been saying that for years, because at this point, especially with Generation Z and going forward, they're tired, and they're going to make different choices. They're already making different choices, and there's nothing that you can do about it. And so that wave that you think that you can stop, or that the movement or the thought processes or the ideology that you can think you can stop because it's a joke, or you think that you can make a joke and make light of it, it's already too late. Go look up viral meme. That's a homework assignment for you. Go look up the book Lucifer Principle, printed back in 1995. Where he talks about a viral meme and how it spreads, how historically viral memes spread, including Christianity. Christianity was a viral meme 3,000 years ago. It spread around the whole globe, in every country. It's how viral memes work and how it's carried. That stuff is already out. It's already out the barn. It's too late for you to stop it or even slow it down. It's just going to get faster. And it should get faster. It should spread faster. You as an intersectional feminist should know that black females separated themselves as a ideology, as an identity, and as a demographic 30 years ago. maybe 40 years ago. But you want to deny the rights of black men to do the same as an ideology. But since you think it's a joke, you think it's funny because you don't think you want to take black men seriously, you want to make light of it. And I can tell you don't take it seriously because you think it's too small. You think it's beneath you, which is fine. But I've been in this game for 30 years. And you think because the channels are small, or my channel is relatively small, it has no power. I learned dealing in the conscious community, being a Pan-Africanist, that you don't need a lot of people. You don't need a big organization. You don't need a large channel. All you need to know, all you need to do is the right people. Talk to the right people. You talk to the right people in the right position with the right message. Guess what happens? You're gonna move boulders. You're gonna move mountains. You're gonna move mountains with your little bitty message, your little bitty channel, that somebody with 10 times, 100 times the amount of subs and subscribers couldn't do. Like I said, you guys do strategy with your thumbs. In fact, you do strategy with your feet instead of with a scalpel. And for you black academics that are out there that oppose the black manosphere, that make light of the black manosphere and pass yourself off as learned, as a black intelligentsia, I am sorely disappointed. I am sorely disappointed. I thought better of you, because when black people look at people with doctor and PhD behind their name, it means something to them. It should mean something to you, because as you represent yourself, as you represent yourself to black people, because believe it or not, the black manosphere, the so-called unwashed masses, as you put us, or you take us, as you look at us, we may not be your peers, but the thing is, you're in service to us because you serve us, because you're supposed to lead and guide us. And guess what you're not doing? Your education and your position is supposed to be a calling, not a job. I have people, subs, that have jobs that make 5 times the amount of money you do. And they have a job. You have a calling. You have supposed to be a sacred calling. A sacred calling and a sacred duty to serve the people and serve the communities of which you come from. Chinese do it. Jewish people do it. Hispanic people do it. White people even do it. I'm sorely disappointed in you guys. I'm sorely disappointed in black academia, for the most part. And then have the nerve to call yourself pro-black. The nerve. If this is what you call pro-black, if this is what's left of the movement, this is what's left of the culture of which I was still a part of, then I don't want it. Because the conscious community, the pro-black, the black nationalists and the Pan-Africans I came from, man, they stuck to the freaking truth, no matter what it was. And when the truth revealed itself, man, they ran with it. And if you guys are backbiting, lying, and hiding information because it's not popular, then you know better than white supremacy, or the patriarchy, as you call it, of which, when you guys call it the patriarchy, you really don't even understand it. Don't even understand what it is, which most people don't, which I had to go read it for myself to find out what it was. Because guess what? Black intelligentsia, especially black males, the people that actually read this arcane shit, didn't tell us the goddamn truth. And I'm getting pissed. The more I read, the more pissed I get, because you motherfuckers have been lying to us for like 50 years, 60 years. And I'm getting sick of you guys lying to us and feeding us this pablum and bullshit to move your political agenda. You know better than the white folks. And I'm trying to work too hard to find honest, good people that are teachers, you know. And I only found a handful, which is why I say, especially to my subs, you only got a handful of these people because they're swimming in a corrupt system. And I shouldn't be surprised, because the United States is corrupt. So the systems that they produce are going to be corrupt too. And black intelligentsia is just as corrupt as America itself. And the handful of people that we get that are honest, truth, forthright, and willing to make a sacrifice to get shit done are far and few in between. I'm getting sick of catching you guys in your freaking lies, man. And every time I come up against one of you guys in the comment section in this world, and I'm catching you in your freaking lying ideology, man, let me stop, man, before I really go in, because it's not what I really mean to do. And that's my frustration speaking. And I'm probably going to have to edit this because I am irritated. Anyhow, this is BGS out, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.